Hello everyone, Raptor here. Before we start today's video, if I sound a little bit annoyed, a little bit sick, yes, as my name suggests, I do have problems with my tonsils, or tonsillitis basically. And I feel like it also pushed into my cavities, in my nose cavities, hence why I'm a little bit sniffly. I have a red nose because of blowing the nose constantly. So my mood isn't that happy. Especially when I now saw the new Sandbox changes for HE and artillery. This is apparently the last Sandbox test, and if they're happy with those changes, we will probably see those shit in May on the common test. Obviously, this is Sandbox, subject to change, boom, finito. The thing is, I feel just frustrated a little bit, because we looked at the HE shells already. Wargaming themselves noted that people aren't that happy with how the penetration mechanics work. I'm pretty confident we discussed that in the feedbacks and the reaction video of Wargaming themselves. So let's have a look at the replay in the background for your pleasure where I'm playing the EBR. Because, in general, the fact that non-penning AG is doing far less damage is perfect. The fact that now HE can penetrate tracks, walls, screens, heat fences, etc. is dog shit. And obviously, guys, this is my personal opinion on this subject. And I am more pronounced about this because I like this game still. I rage, yes, I get salty, yes, I still like this game a lot. Hence why I produce content for this video, hence why I still keep on playing it. I just have a feeling that those changes are not good for the game, at least this penetration. I already discussed it in way too much detail in my proper video about the HE changes, where I went over everything. So please watch that video so you know where I'm coming from and why I'm coming from. And let me just add one final note, which is not Wargaming's voice, that is purely my subjective view. It's not objective, it's subjective. It's my personal view on that stuff. The changes about now being able to penetrate side armor through tracks with hash, like a 183, like a stage 2, like an EBR, is bad because not only do you now... it's frustrating. Do you look forward to get... you basically get penetrated everywhere when you're playing a 140, for example. A 140, you drive around, bloop, light bulb goes up, and boom, 1700 HP, one shot, you're gone. Because an FV penetrated your side armor through the tracks. Or the EBR is yodeling around, getting into a good position, slaps you for 500 in your side with hash, because it penetrates the tracks. In the current iteration, those shots are rather hard. In the current live server, those shots are hard, those shots are rare if they penetrate your side. But now, on the Sandbox, it's easy. It's that simple. It really devalues tanks which uses thin heat screens, or have thin-ish tracks. For example, Super Conqueror. A tank which really does profit from those HE changes, don't get me wrong. I play 60p in ranked, you saw the video. It's stupid how much damage you can do, even without penetration. Yes, you didn't see that yet, but you can do a lot of damage without penetration, 400 like on the cheeks, which is stupid, definitely stupid. So these are nice changes that you now only do like 80 damage or something, if you use a normal HE gun, like a 60p. But stage 2, for example, can... Now, on the live server, the side armor of a Super Conqueror is basically 70% non-pennable with hash. On a Sandbox server, a nice flat side armor, 100% pen ratio. Wow, awesome. My heavy tank, which drives 35 kph, is now getting yoinked for more than a third of it, more than 2/3 or even 3/4 of its hit points. Poggers. Don't forget, you can also get burned. Or ammo racked. That's also fun. And the other extrema is that now, if you get unlucky as the FV, unlucky as the EBR, you hit the tracks, and the shot goes through, and hits no armor behind, and you do 0 damage. That counts for the stage 2 as well. So now you basically, and again, this is my opinion, have a big lottery. And I kind of just feel like this is a little bit intentional to keep you more playing and to keep you addicted. You're like, oh no, I did 0 damage. Oh, this is frustrating. I have to play one more game to get a pen hit. You know, that is stupid. That is genuinely stupid, and we don't need more extremas. We don't need the difference between 0 and 1700 damage in a blink of an eye. We don't need that. Look, the stage 2s are already very frustrating to fight. But I feel like right now they get, with the sandbox changes, if those changes go through, they get even more frustrating. And it's a bigger lottery than ever, where you do either 0 damage or 1750 damage into the sides. And again, don't get me started on EBRs. Yes, they do get a nerf because they have less survivability. Then they can get penetrated by an Object 140 with HE in the side, through the tracks and through the road wheels. But what the fuck, that's nothing, honestly. They are so fast and rarely somebody is shooting HE at them because HE is a rather slow ammunition. Meanwhile, they will be able to dominate even more. I don't get it. I don't get it. Again, I discussed it more in depth in my video with proper pictures, proper gameplays to accommodate what I'm saying. But for me, it is goddamn frustrating. Seriously, we do not need this penetration mechanic. We do not need this penetration mechanic. Because literally right now, we don't have anything anymore, basically, you know? We have, because the HE on a sandbox level will work like a low pen AP round which cannot bounce except if it doesn't hit armor behind it. Boring. Honestly boring. Honestly. Whatever. HE changes. It's nice that you do less damage for heavily armored tanks and you don't need to, then that you actually need to have a brain now again a little bit. Yes, it makes tanks stronger like Super Conqueror, like Chieftain, like 279. Don't get me wrong, that's simply the fact. And I do hope that if those changes go through, that Wargaming, if it sees that they get stronger and stronger and stronger, that they get nerfed quickly. Because Wargaming sadly does have a little bit of a tendency to be slow in balancing, you know. Because they also don't want to piss off people, that's a little bit of an issue. You have to grind something for like more than a year sometimes, and then you have it and then it suddenly gets nerfed. I saw a lot of people complaining about this, the standard B. But I feel like this is a little bit of a mistake from the beginning, or like from the last couple of years, that Wargaming simply should have made a lot more often smaller changes, and rather do a lot more small changes up and down, so people get accustomed to the fact that there are changes coming. It doesn't matter which tank, it doesn't matter whatever. But that's a topic of a whole other video. Let's now talk about the artillery changes. The artillery changes are, for example, HE changes are like 2 steps forward, 1 step backwards. Artillery changes are like 3 steps forward, 1 step backward. Still, Wargaming. The fact that stun HE does not kill crew members anymore if it doesn't penetrate is good. That's very good. Doesn't do any internal model damage. That's good. But we don't need it to have like 10% less damage. That's too little. It is supposed to be a stun HE, which is there to support your team and not do damage and yet still support your team. So, I still don't understand why Wargaming is persistent in not lowering, compared to the live server, the HE from around 20%. Because right now they changed it at roughly 11% when I take the Object 261 as an example. And that's simply too little. That's genuinely too little. Seriously, push it down to 20%, boom, finished. Because, seriously, 400 damage or 360, that's almost the same, seriously. With 20 it would be roughly 320, which is a rather big difference now. You know, now we start talking, you know. And now it's almost 100 less. So, Wargaming, please, 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 lower the damage of the stun HE. About the damage HE, I'm glad to see that Wargaming decided to remove some of the additional pen they gave it. That is good. That is genuinely good in my opinion, because seriously, we don't need more pens from people which are 600, 700 meters away wanking one off, you know. That's the basic issue of artillery in general. Yes, those new mechanics with the artisans is kind of nice. It might help some faster vehicles. For heavy tanks it's just like, oh, instead of you getting annoyed when you get clicked, you get annoyed 2 seconds earlier because you know the click is coming. So for fast tanks or maneuverable-ish tanks, it's a good thing, but then again, the thing is, why is it a commander skill? Put it on the radio operator, you know? And another thing is, the change with intuition is nice. It's very nice, it's very nice. Because it kind of shows us that we don't need a crew 2.0, we need a crew 1.5. A soft rebalance of the changes which for crews, you know? Remove 50-75% crews, add 6 cents as 0 skill, boom! You already have some, and remove some old skills and redo some other skills, maybe adjust the progression slightly, and finish! 90% of the people will be happy. You don't need to rethink your entire game wargaming with the crew skins, crew skills. And lastly, the AP rounds, just remove them for RT. It's a noob trap. People, like, there's no point in using AP because a penning HE round still does more damage. And the AP round is so situational, so RNG based, that you might say, oh yeah, just use it for self-defense. Yeah, wow, nice, I just hit AMX 1390 in the track for 0 damage. While a stun HE would have done like 400 damage, while the damage HE would have done maybe 600 damage, you know? The AP is just a noob trap. I would have wished Wargaming would have been open-minded and maybe tried something else, like for example a napalm grenade, which is doing some area of effect damage, like 1% of your total hit points every second for like 10 seconds or something. So you have to move, you know? You have to move if you don't want to stay in this stupid position. It would have been a great addition to the fact that people, or Wargaming says, RT prevents camping, because that would prevent camping. But again, there are other issues. For example, you could blind fire bushes where scouts are in there, it would damage them a lot. You could, you know, be open-minded in such ideas. And the AP, seriously, you know, whatever, leave it be. Let it be a noob trap. Will be unlucky if my RT is the one with 0 damage but 3 hits. Yeah. Thing is, guys, please play the Sandbox server. Please make your voice heard. Honestly, it is important that you make your own opinion on this subject. I might sound very depressed about those changes. It's really just that I don't see those changes working out too much or too well. I like the game, so I only want the best for the game. And I want that this game flourishes. I hope this makes sense, because the thing is, if the game is doing well, more people come, the company is doing better, and you know what? If more people play the game, the better I feel as a content creator, because more people are going to watch my videos. So the better the game is doing, the better I'm doing. And with that, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to render that shitty video, and then I'm just going to weep myself into sleep because of how shit I feel right now because of this goddamn cold. Thank you so much for watching. Cheers.